Howdy there, Young and Silver Mongoose here, back again with another video for you guys. And this is one I've wanted to do for a very long time, and that is to talk about my vinyl records that are, I guess, nerdy or geeky or video game related. I'm not one of these people that's like an audiophile. I'm not really big into the quality of sound or whatever, so I'm not going to be one of these people that tells you that, you know, the quality of vinyl is the best, blah, 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 blah. I buy vinyl records for a few reasons. One is that I prefer how it sounds with some types of music. I believe kind of, you know, the impurities, the hissing, the popping enhances like old jazz or band music. Another reason is that putting on a vinyl record is a different experience than like just listening to an MP3. You know, you take the record, you put it on the record player, and it's I don't know, it somehow becomes like part of the room. It's like a different experience, right? Putting on a record is a thing you do, whereas listening to music for me, for the most part, otherwise, is just something that goes on in the background, if that makes any sense. So it's an experience. It's something that you can share with friends, you know, listening to an entire record. And the third reason is that a lot of it is pretty. So I have some vinyl records that, you know, I bought for 25 cents that I actually don't listen to. I bought them because they were pretty. It was an art piece, right? And something I can hang in my wall. And the first record that I'm going to talk about, I think is very pretty, and that is Anamanaguchi's Dawn Metropolis. Now, I actually made a video about this in 2010, I think, when I first got this. If you don't know who Anamanaguchi is, they are a chiptune band. If you don't know what chiptune is, it's a broad type of music now. Back when it started, it was more of, you know, you play like guitar and drums and stuff like that, but you use some sort of original video game hardware, so you use a Game Boy or an NES or something. And now chiptune is a huge category of music. But Anamanaguchi was one of the first, I guess, really popular ones. This record was from before they were pretty popular. They got more popular when they started making music for games like Bit Trip Runner or the Scott Pilgrim game, and they got pretty big. So this one, it was pretty funny because I had to contact them directly. The lead singer, I can't remember his name off the top of my head, and he's like, "Oh yeah, I'll send those to you once we get some packing material." So they were shipping them out. They were shipping them out themselves. They were just like sitting in their apartment or whatever, which I thought was kind of funny. And now, I don't know, this record is probably worth way more. I think I paid like $15 for it back in the day. And the prices of vinyl is something I'm going to talk about a little bit later. So the next record that I'm going to talk about is the music of Retro City Rampage. So Retro City Rampage was a game primarily made by one person, Brian Provinciano, I believe his name is. He's a Canadian guy, and yeah, it's a game I really enjoy. But he came to the Vancouver Retro Gaming Expo, the very first one, and he was selling these records. And this one is a beautiful translucent green. There was also a translucent blue one, and there was a just plain black one. So they were selling these for, I think, $20 or something. And Brian Provinciano himself was there, as well as two of the three people who do the music. So Norin Rad was there, as well as Freaky DNA was there. So I got them to sign the record, as well as the print that came with it. So you can see their signatures on there. And so it came with a print, and it also came with a CD case, because often when you buy a record, it comes with the MP3s for free, so you can burn yourself a CD and then use this to make a CD case. So the next one I have here is a band from Vancouver, Missing No, and this is I believe their debut album, Warp Zone. And they are a band that has instruments like brass, so they have trumpet, saxophone, trombone. They also have keyboard and guitar and drums, and they have guests coming all the time doing other instruments as well. So they do really cool arrangements of songs like Frog's Theme is on here, Bomb on Battlefield, Sacred Brush Symphony. So lots of really great songs on here. And, you know, you can see it's signed because I've seen them, you know, probably 4 or 5 times now. And whenever I bought that record, I got it signed. Because why not? I like to get I like to get stuff signed. So the next record I have, which is video game related, is the Call 8-Bit Anniversary Edition from Random, aka Mega Ran. Raheem here is a rapper who got famous within, I guess, the nerd sphere for rapping about Mega Man or rapping with Mega Man music. I believe he might actually be officially signed or officially allowed to use Capcom's music, which is neat. And this one isn't a Mega Man record, but this was a record that he was selling when he came up to Canada to do a concert. I don't listen to a lot of his music on my computer or on my MP3 player or whatever, but he put on such a great show. I've seen him twice now, and even though they were very small and there wasn't that much energy in the room, he brought that out. He's a fantastic performer, a really smart guy, and if you have a chance to go see him, I would definitely recommend it. So this record, I think, was like maybe $30. I got him to sign it there. It says "Live the Dream," and it is a beautiful, I guess, candy red, I would call it. And what's great about the anniversary edition is it has some songs that are, I believe, exclusive to this record. So the next one I have here is Shenmue. It is part of the soundtrack. Obviously, it can't have the whole thing from Data Disc. And this one has a bit of a story about it. I had pre-ordered the special edition, which you'll see here comes with 2 types of blue. And when I got it, it had like a piece of plastic, black plastic, like deeply embedded into the record. It was full of scratches, but it was factory sealed, so I knew that it was a factory, like a press error. So I contacted them, and I was worried that they might not have another one of this because it was a special edition, but they did. They held some back, and they sent me a new one, and I'm very thankful for that. Another thing that's really cool about this record is if you look really closely, it has engravings on the inner circle that says, "Do you know where I can find some sailors? And I need to do this for my father," which I thought was a nice little nod. Now this one was fairly expensive. It's £20, and when you convert that to Canadian, our dollar is not great, and you add shipping overseas, I think this thing cost me like $70, and that's a lot of money for a record. A lot of these other records, $15, $20, $30, I'm okay with paying that. But $70, I'd only really pay that for something I really love. Now, Shenmue is something that's very special for me. I've talked about Shenmue in a previous video. I'll link all these companies and videos I'm mentioning, in the description. But Shenmue is a game that's very special to me. It's very unique. So that was why I wanted to own this piece of I guess, memorabilia. Unfortunately, a lot of video game vinyl is coming out these days, but it's just out of my price range because, like I mentioned, Canadian dollar is not good. Shipping is usually not good either. There's things like Bit Trip Runner, Journey, Perfect Dark, Banjo-Kazooie, lots of rare things, lots of Sega things coming out. And I would love to own a lot of those, but they just end up costing too much. There was one that Square put out recently, which was a Chrono Cross and Chrono Trigger rearranged, like orchestrated album, but I think that would have cost me like over $100, and no music is worth that to me. Maybe if they came out with like a Majora's Mask one, I would get it because that's my favorite game of all time, but I don't love music that much, so I'm not going to be able to do that. Part of the reason I think that it's going up is because people know that people are willing to pay that much for vinyl, and also possibly for licensing. Like, this is officially licensed by Sega, so maybe some money went towards that. I don't know. So the next video game soundtrack I have, and the last one that I have, is Mother 2, or Earthbound here in North America. Again, I left the OBI paper strip on there just because I don't know, I like the way it looks. This is a double LP, so it has 2 records, and you open it up and it has this nice little map of all the areas. And this one also has a bit of a story. So I originally pre-ordered this for a friend. They wanted it for Christmas, and they wanted the hot pink Mr. Saturn version. And finally, when we got the record, months and months and months later, it came with this like super ugly, like barfy marble kind of color. We were expecting a hot pink that was really pretty. and we actually called this the Master Barf Edition. And I was very confused because there were several kind of colors you could order for this record, but none of them were this barf color. You know, there was a Ness color, a Gygas color, a black one, and then Mr. Saturn. And I contacted them and I said, what is going on here? And apparently there was a mix-up at the factory. The Gygas versions were made into barf versions, and then they accidentally shipped me the Gygas version instead of the Mr. Saturn version. So they sent me a whole new record package, which is really great of them to do it. And that means I got to keep another copy. So my friend got to keep the Mr. Saturn version, and I got to keep the Master Barf version. And because it was a gift, I didn't mind paying $80 for it. But now that it's broken up in two, it's basically like, it's like $40 each or $20 per record because it's a double LP. And this also contains, other than a bunch of the music, it contains 3 Psy mixes, Room Number, Hula Hoop, and another 2, which are actually quite good. And the final vinyl I have here is Endless Fantasy by Anamanaguchi. Currently, this is their most latest record. I wouldn't have bought this except for, as you may be able to guess by my shirt, I went to their show. So I went to go see Anamanaguchi when they came to Canada. And I wasn't sure how much I was going to enjoy Chiptune live, but it was really great. I went with Mega Steak Man, and we saw a wonderful light show, and the energy in the room was really great, and it was really interesting music. They only played one thing from Dawn Metropolis, which is probably my favorite. This record is very different than their older stuff. It's more like J-pop inspired, more rock inspired, I guess. So it's a bit farther away from more chiptune music, but it's different. But I still very much enjoyed it. It's got a really great package here, and the record itself, another double LP, by the way. The records are kind of this like 90s bubblegum marble painting, which is part of me thinks that this is like really pretty, and another half of me just thinks it's super ugly. But this was, again, $30 because when you go to a show, they don't make a lot of money off of the tickets. The tickets were like $20 or something. They make most of their money from merchandise. So I bought a shirt which was $35, and then I bought the double LP, which is $30, which was a great price for a double LP. If I were to buy this online, it'd probably be closer to $60. So that is my video game and video game related vinyl collection. It's small, but I very much enjoy it. Do you guys have any video game or video game related vinyl? Maybe you have the BioShock vinyl or the Ballad of the Space Baby Sword and Sorcery one, which is another one I really wanted. And if you do or don't, what do you think about buying video game vinyl? This has been Silver Mongoose Videos. Remember, classic gaming never gets old.